Is it better to invest in gold and precious metals like silver, or is it better to invest in crypto, or is the ideal combination to do some of each? I'm going to give you my thoughts on that now, where personally I have about 5,000 ICP, which is tens of thousands of dollars of crypto, and I have zero in gold right now for the following reasons. However, I am interested in buying some gold in the future, but the only context I would buy precious metals myself in is physical gold coins, silver coins, etc. I would never own a third party kind of, a gold certificate or something like that, because what's happened is the gold price has been suppressed and many precious metals have been suppressed by selling paper gold. So you buy some gold fund in your retirement, for example, and they tell you you've got, a kilogram bar of gold, but in truth, they tell 100 people that all of you have 1 kilogram bar of gold. And the fact is they might not even have any gold that they're selling, or they might not have, what the gold they say everybody has. So the price of gold has been drastically suppressed over the years. Like if you look at gold, the gold price versus inflation, the gold price should have went up dramatically more based on inflation. So if you look at, just Google this, it says, gold's real return has been 8% annualized and 12% before inflation. So and that's with all the gold price suppression. There's also a problem with gold that there's an additional tax. So if you buy gold and precious metals, the government, in an effort to deter you from buying gold, will impose an additional collector's tax on physical gold coins. So the governments clearly do not want you to own physical gold, and these centralized entities, through selling paper gold and other metals, have been intentionally suppressing the price. So for me, the key is looking towards the future. Well, if we look at the past, some years gold the price actually went down. So if you look like from 1980 to 1984, gold prices actually fell. And right now, if you compare crypto to gold, Bitcoin has been far outperforming gold for quite a while. So obviously when Bitcoin first came out, the returns were insane, but Bitcoin has been trending further and further up, while the gold price has been trending further and further down. So crypto looks like, at least if you really want to dramatically increase your wealth, crypto looks like a much better vehicle to do that. But for those of you that are just gambling on altcoins and just throwing your money around and hoping for 100x, you might actually be better playing it safer and buying gold, because 99% of altcoins, you're going to lose money in those as an investment, especially compared to Bitcoin. However, with these Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin is getting more centralized, where they're now set up with these ETFs around the world and these centralized entities like exchanges holding Bitcoin. The vast majority of Bitcoin is in the hands of a very small few, which you can verify if you go to the BTC rich list. You can see how only a few Bitcoin addresses have almost everything. Right now, 82% of the Bitcoin is held by less than 0.3%. So that's 3 out of 1,000. There's 10,000 or 15,000 Bitcoin addresses that have 60% of the entire supply. Just 10,000 single addresses. So the Bitcoin centralization is getting worse and worse, which means that it's easier and easier to sell people paper Bitcoin, same as gold. So I think the Bitcoin price already has been seeing significant depression or oppression, the same as gold has. So I think going forward, the returns on Bitcoin are going to be more limited. And with the dollar, not being used for the petrodollar anymore, and with the dollar potentially falling as the world's reserve currency, I don't think Bitcoin looks very attractive as a global reserve currency, especially because of the price suppression and the centralized entities grabbing it up. For example, if you're in Russia and you're looking at Bitcoin, like a bunch of these centralized entities in the US are controlling the mining and are grabbing up the Bitcoin and then double, triple, 10x selling it potentially. Therefore, if you're in Russia and you're looking for an alternative to the dollar, Bitcoin is not looking that attractive. The only crypto platform that really excites me is Internet Computer Protocol, because you can put this is technology that's truly can finally do everything you'd want within, reason. Obviously, it doesn't do everything, but this is the first technology on Internet Computer. You can do computation on blockchain. It eliminates the need to use any centralized third parties, which Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, with all these ETFs and exchanges, most everybody who's interacting with Bitcoin and Ethereum are operating through centralized third parties, which Bitcoin and Ethereum were specifically launched with the intention to remove centralized third parties, middlemen, from transactions. Internet Computer brings us back to the foundation of crypto, what it was intended to do by providing an infrastructure that's fully on chain, that nothing else can do that. Nothing else can build a website and host NFTs and videos, put gigabytes of data on chain for just $5 a year. Internet Computer is the first technology I see in crypto that makes it ready for mass adoption, where you can actually build your coin and have it fully decentralized and governed physically by code and not by hype and speculation and faith. So to me, Internet Computer right now looks like a much more attractive investment than gold, than Bitcoin, than Ethereum. However, let's say I'm exactly right about Internet Computer, and the prices I'm filming this today is, under $10. And let's say I'm right about Internet Computer and the ICP price pumps. Once it goes over $200, I'll be a millionaire just off of ICP. At that point, I'll sell 20% of my ICP to knock out all my debt, and then sell my ICP voting rewards, which when you hold Bitcoin or gold, you get nothing for holding Bitcoin or gold. You don't make a profit unless you sell. And if you listen to what I said about the gold, collector's tax, gold prices have to go up significantly for you to actually make a profit on gold. And on Bitcoin, the prices have to go up significantly also for it to be worth it to transact it, to pay the transaction fees and exchange fees to sell it. So you don't get anything for just holding Bitcoin and gold, which to me makes them not very attractive. Meanwhile, Internet Computer, you get 15% for voting rewards on Internet Computer, which is staking. And you can follow me to vote fully automatically or Definity. And that to me is much more attractive than holding Bitcoin or gold, because let's say Bitcoin, ICP, and gold all stay basically the same. So let's say they all go up about the same. Well, ICP is, I get 15% and I don't have to touch my principal. But with gold and Bitcoin, I get nothing unless I touch my principal. So what I love about ICP is I think ICP has a good chance to 100x. It's the only crypto out of thousands of altcoins I've seen that I'm very confident in its ability to 100x. Almost everything else I think is going to zero. And if ICP 100x's, that 15% based on the fiat I turn in will turn into hundreds, maybe even thousands of percent back on what I originally put in. And you're just never going to get that return with Bitcoin and gold. However, if I'm exactly right about ICP, and then I pay off all my debts, right now, most of my net worth is in my house. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity with my wife in our house. So that's my biggest investment. Some of you say, well, you should diversify. You shouldn't just hold ICP. I am diversified. I have hundreds of thousands of equity in my house. I have cars that are paid off. We have cash in the bank, cash on hand. And that's enough diversification. I'm all in on ICP and crypto. However, if my ICP gets up to being like $1 million and dwarfing the value of my house, then I am going to look to diversify some, because at that point, I have, tens of thousands of dollars ICP today. If I lose all that, it's not going to make a big difference. But if I get, millions of dollars of ICP, then I will want to diversify more. So I would first do that by paying off my house and paying off all my business and student loan debts, because that's a guaranteed return I can't possibly lose. And so that's step one. Step two, now if I've got hundreds of thousands more dollars after that in ICP rewards, and then I would look to buy some gold at that point. At no point do I see I would want to buy Bitcoin, because to me, Bitcoin's time is come and gone. If I want crypto, I want something with more potential, and ICP is it. If I want gold, I'm looking for something more conservative to just keep up with inflation. So I don't see the need to have gold until I've already paid down debt. But once I paid down debt, then I would be looking to buy some gold coins. And the gold coins would be mainly just to not lose money to inflation and to diversify against, if I'm holding $1 million in ICP and then it crashes to zero or has a critical problem, that's too much, of my portfolio in one basket. So I would diversify out of ICP some and load up some gold, some silver, maybe some other coins as well. So to me, precious metals at this point are only something to diversify in if you have so much money that you already own your house, you're already debt free, you've already got hundreds of thousands of dollars of ICP. Sure, then it might make sense to have some gold coins also. But for the average person, I don't see why you would hold gold at this point because of the difficulty in transacting it. Because to me, ICP is easier and more lucrative at this point. But in the future, it might make sense. And for some of you higher in net worth, it might make sense. And yeah, if you buy certified gold bars, and you got enough money for that, that would make sense to make sure you preserve some of your net worth. That said, if you have that much net worth to buy some gold bars, you might want to consider giving some more of the money away and supporting more, charitable work and investing, like locally investing in businesses and things like that, etc. To me, gold, it might make sense to have 10% of your net worth in gold at most. But for example, if I had, $1 million ICP portfolio with all my locked up principal and ICP was like $500, I don't think I would ever stockpile more than like $100,000 of gold if my total net worth was millions of dollars, because, there's better things I could do with the money at that point than put it in gold. Maybe $100,000 in gold, but even moving $100,000 in gold from one country to another could be difficult, whereas it's easy to take crypto from one country to another. So, and gold could always be seized, by coercive authorities, which is more of a problem in some developing countries. So those are all my thoughts on gold and precious metals versus crypto and my current position on it. I would love to hear your thoughts. I did this video because on Twitch, you all were asking for what's your opinion on gold and gold bars and silver and things like that. So if you want the best experience, go to jerrybanfield.com, follow on Twitch. If you've not downloaded Twitch, try something new today. It's a free app, free account. You can come watch live streams on Twitch. It's awesome. I love Twitch. This is the main place. This is the main place the community is when I'm online and when I'm offline. The only two ways to chat with me are to go on open chat or to schedule a one-on-one call. Nothing else. Nothing else is a way to chat with me. I don't have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, Telegram. I deleted these. So never interact with anything that says Jerry Banfield there. I also won't follow you or do anything on your posts on X unless I already know you from open chat or Twitch or from a one-on-one call first. If you want all my videos, they're all on my X. Do not follow a fake account. Make sure it's only the one on jerrybanfield.com. And I have 8 different YouTube channels on YouTube. I put all my videos on as well. I'm a full-time streamer and YouTuber. My goal is to help do whatever I can to be useful for you today and to enjoy the time I have. So thanks for watching this. And if you enjoyed this, I hope you'll watch more, like, subscribe, and join us on jerrybanfield.com.